You said Retrograde.
You said Retrograde.
Did I? Yeah. I said Retrogrames. Yeah. Grames?
Grames.
Maybe we're a metric weight show, you know, we talk about weights.
What's a grain of weight?
It's the old spelling of gram.
What? No, stop making you're making stuff up.
10 grams of that flour there, please, mate.
You have activated the podcast from the Psycom Network.
And now, on with the show.
Welcome to the Retrograde podcast, a show where we tell retro games that yes, their bum does look big in those jeans. My name is Jack Marsh and I'm joined today by Lysanne Fisher.
Hello.
And Anthony Hobday.
Hello.
In today's show, we're going to be discussing the PlayStation title Crash Bandicoot, but before we do, let's have a brief blurb on the game from our chief paleontologist, chief editor of Psycom.org, Brecky K. Thomason.
Crash Bandicoot is a platform video game published by Sony Computer Entertainment and developed by Naughty Dog for the PlayStation home console. In the game, the player controls Crash Bandicoot, who must traverse the 3 islands of the game, defeat his creator Dr. Neo Cortex, and rescue his girlfriend, Tawna. The smooth 3-dimensional graphics and unique platforming camera perspective meant Crash Bandicoot received generally favorable reviews from critics and became an early must-have title for the PlayStation console. The game spawned a franchise which has celebrated over 16 decorated years as a commercial success, selling around 50 million units worldwide.
Cheers for that, Brecky. Straight away, we said that James can't sadly join us. He got caught up with some work that he had to do, and he had to cancel at the last minute, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have any suave Scottish accent coming through.
He was our style.
He was our
Now it's just a bunch of nerds.
Now it's just 3 English people.
Yeah.
Who can't pronounce their words correctly.
Well, it's kind of on time considering they're doing the referendum in a couple of years. Scottish independence.
Yeah.
Do you not listen to the news?
I don't read the news.
Yeah,
Okay.
I get my news off Reddit. I'm not even lying.
So if they get
Then
independence...
that's a social news aggregator. But yeah, if they get their independence, then James will be an immigrant.
I know
We'll have to chuck him out anyway.
in my eyes, he's already an immigrant. The flag will change then, won't it? We'll lose the blue background on the Union Jack, and it'll just be like red and white.
Well, yeah, it'll just be the England flag.
No, it'll have Wales as well.
No, Wales isn't represented on the Union Jack.
They have to... Yeah, they are. They're the Red Cross.
No, that's us.
No, we're the red St George's overlaid on the Red Cross, overlaid on the Scottish blue.
Have you seen the Welsh flag?
Yeah, there's 2.
It's green and white with a dragon.
There's a red and white. Wait, hold on. Or is that Northern Ireland?
Northern Ireland isn't on ours.
Anyway, banter, guys. What have you been up to?
If you know what comprises the Union Jack, send it in on your iTunes review. Include a little note at the bottom.
Weirdest
brackets.
review we've ever got. By the way, the Union Jack looks like this.
No, it'd be better if they tweeted us, really, at Retrograde Show.
Okay,
No, the primary method for people to contact us is iTunes reviews. Leave an email, we'll get back to you.
Don't just put 5 stars and ask us whatever question you wanted to ask.
We will not respond to 1-star reviews.
Just put 5 stars. Where can I download the show? That'll do.
But if they do that on iTunes, then aren't they already downloading it?
If they're leaving an iTunes review and asking where to download the show, they shouldn't be listening in the first place.
Yeah. They obviously don't know how to use a computer.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the topic. James can't sadly join us, but that gives us a bit more room for banter. He doesn't take up all our time with his stupid banter.
We've taken up his part with the Union Jack discussion.
Yeah, that was his banter. That's what
banter over.
He would have talked. He would have turned up and gone, I wish I had independence, or whatever. That would have been his banter. But
he wants his freedom back.
Yeah. Anthony, what have you been doing? Been playing anything good?
Just finished Uncharted 2, which is a shame because James would have been great to discuss this with, since it's one of his favourite games.
Sorry to disappoint you that me and Lysanne are sitting here.
Well, no, it's one of his
He doesn't care about us, Jack.
It's one of his favourite games, so he would have been like, oh, great, yeah, how'd you like it? And we could have bantered about that. But it's relevant because Naughty Dog developed Uncharted.
Yeah, that's very true.
And they also developed Crash Bandicoot.
Should we save Uncharted 2 for next week when James is back? Did you like it or did you hate it? 'Cause if you hate
I loved it.
Great. Oh, damn. Okay, not what I'm talking about then.
No, we can't do it in this show because it's not a retro
Just
game.
get you two circle jerking about the game, going, "Oh, it's fantastic, it's brilliant." I've never played any. I've never played any Uncharted games.
The first one's kind of boring, but the second one really steps it up.
They're not the same.
They're completely open world, aren't they?
No, it's like Tomb Raider. It's completely linear, and it's lots of open set pieces and like exploring and trying to find the next
Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
What about you, Lysanne? What have you been up to?
Not a huge amount. Haven't been playing that many games. No, something I have done. I finally trained up all of my awesome Pokemon in Pokemon Black to level 70 and above, and then beat all the Elite Four again, and beat all the Masters of the game again, and I am now awesome.
Have you?
I've got all the legendary Pokemon. All the legendary Pokemon.
I don't think you'd be able to take on my team of Weedles and Hardons.
They're called... Harden isn't one. Harden's a move.
Is it a move, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn right it's a move. That joke never gets old. It's like 4 episodes ago and we're still doing it.
That's what I've been doing in the world of games. In real life, I met Stephen Burkoff, who is amazing in the theatre world, but neither of you would have ever heard of him, so don't worry.
No, all I can think of is that's an unfortunate last name.
Burkoff, yeah.
Yeah, if you ever said that to him to his face, he'd nut you.
Who's Stephen Burkoff? What have we known him from?
He's one of the greatest theatre practitioners of the 19th century.
Why is he still practising then?
Wait, 19th
Up high.
century?
That was a great joke.
Jack.
Can you say 19th century?
20th century. 20th
Hundreds
century.
of years old.
20th century.
So would we know him from any famous plays?
Yes. But he's a director and an actor. He's been in loads of Hollywood movies. He was in the remake of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, okay.
He was in that. He was in Doctor Who recently. He's an incredible actor, director, producer and writer. Hugely influential over theatre post World War II. Influenced so many writers, including myself. He is one of the most incredible men I've ever met in my life.
Well, hold on, that's insulting me and Anthony. We're sitting right here.
No, I know
Seriously.
she's not including me in that.
My plays are pretty groundbreaking as well. They were more influential pre-World War II. Some say they were the cause.
My plays are very existential, I'd say.
Existential. Okay.
Partly because they don't exist. They really question existence.
Only in your mind.
Well played.
The characters.
Wait, I once wrote a play called Mr. Banana Shirt, which never saw production, unfortunately, and I didn't even finish the play, but it would have been groundbreaking.
Did he lose his banana shirt?
Oh, no, it's a whole thing. You don't want to get into it. It's an epic.
And I've also decided to join a roller derby team, and I'm going to be doing roller derby.
Roller derby?
No, roller derby. It's called roller
It's
derby.
not called Derby when it's not the place.
Roller derby?
It's only derby when it's the place.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I've been saying that wrong all these years. I've been saying derby is called
Hey,
derby.
Jack, spell listen.
Oh, yeah, we had a little bit of a problem this week where I decided to try and be a bit business-like, a bit American Psycho-esque, and went a bit, got loads of business cards, had a lovely little watermark, a little off-white colouring, oh, lovely. And I put on the thing, listen to the show at the following address, and I spelled listen wrong. And I'm not even kidding you, I tweeted it, and thankfully none of our followers, all like 3 of them, didn't correct me on the spelling mistake until Anthony saw it, and I put I at the end, I put Listein, which I'm not kidding you, until you said it, I've been spelling listen wrong all my life. I checked it in Microsoft Word, it just auto-corrects it for you, because it thinks you're such an idiot that I'm just going to... So I've never noticed. I've been spelling it wrong my whole life.
Do you mean Microsoft's autocorrect is being nice to you? Like it's being polite?
You know, there's some words where it goes, clearly you were trying to spell this word, but you're so stupid, I'm just going to do it for you. Where some it will go, I don't know what you were going for there. Good try. It didn't do that for me. It just goes, I'll fix this for you. Step back, let me get this. The paperclip comes out and goes, starts typing. What an idiot. But yeah, so we've got 2. I don't know what to do with them now because I don't want to give them out because people are going to laugh at us and go...
No, that's a limited edition first run.
Do you know what we need to do? We need to get some Tipex and just Tipex it out.
What, every single one of them is like 200?
Well,
The original-
you can do that because it was your mistake.
Yeah,
then
I know.
you'll learn.
The original print run of Harry Potter with all the mistakes in and stuff.
Yeah?
Worth a lot of money now.
I mean, I could give out these podcasts, but I feel maybe people would listen to us in sympathy going, oh, look, they can't even spell words right. The podcast must be terrible. We'll listen to them.
Just take Tipex to each one.
Good
Blank
God.
out the I.
I could do. I'll probably... Oh, just screw it. I'll just black out the whole word. So just like, instead of listen to Psychon, it'll just say, to retrograde. Cheers. Like that.
Because that's more like a battle cry. To retrograde.
Yeah. But,
To retrograde!
So if anyone has any good ideas of what we can do with 200 business cards that are spelt wrong, let us know. I was going to make a little... I was actually thinking about making a little house or a bit of wood, like a bit of art out of them. I don't know.
Could do.
Maybe make a little house for a hamster or something.
Throw them out the window and make it rain. Make it rain.
Make it rain
Oh, we
business
should
cards.
wait. We should wait for the next parade that goes through town, and then we get high up somewhere, and then we just chuck them out like confetti.
Well, they're quite
And then
sharp
that'll get
corners.
rid
I think that'll cause quite a bit of damage. There'll be a lot of people in
alright.
hospitals with business cards wedged into them. At least it'll give the doctors a good laugh when they pull it out and go, spelt it wrong. So there you go. I have some good banter. On Friday, and I already said this on the Geek Positive show, I got into my first fight ever.
No, you've been in a fight before.
Have I? Was I in a fight?
Tell me about it.
Oh, what, a gay pride?
No, at the World's End.
Huh? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, technically this was my... No, but that wasn't a real one. That was different. That was like a scuffle. This one was on... I went to... and I won't say any names, because obviously that's libel. and all that. But
libel.
I know.
Okay.
But,
Libel.
no, I was out in a bit of a rougher part of Brighton. Not really, down by the station. But I came out of there was a friend of mine was there, and she was really badly drunk. And one of our fairly mutual friends, who I don't really know him very well, and she kind of knows him a bit better, just completely goes over to her and grabs her and forces a kiss on her. And I'm kind of looking over at my friend going, is he forcing a kiss on her? And we're like, yeah, that's really bad. He walks off. She's got like tears coming out of her eyes. And I just went, he walks off past me with a big smirk on his face. And I went, no. Snapped. The Hulk came out. It was like, and I was like, and I went, I looked over,
so angry.
The rage. So he walked past me, and I looked over her, and she's got kind of tears coming out of her eyes, and I was like, "Oh no! This don't float in my neck of the woods. No." So, and you guys know me, I'm a proper geek. This isn't like me at all. So I went, "Oi, come back here!" And I went. I won't obviously say rude words because I'm not a rude man. But I went, "Oi, you stupid mother lover! She's off her face. What's wrong with you? You creepy freaking mother lover again." He stopped. I kind of walked after a bit. He was about 10 foot, say a bit further, say that door over there. Listeners can't see it, but about 10 foot away. And I kind of stopped there, and I had that brief moment where I went, "Oh God, what have I just done? I'm going to get." I don't know if you guys have ever had that moment, but I was like, "I'm going to get beaten to hell out of me." And he turned around and went mental. He came running at me, and all I can explain was like propellers for arms. He was flinging. But what was even funnier is because he did that, I think he was a little bit drunk. His coat went up his arm, so it looked like he was doing a Batman impression coming at me.
Brilliant.
With his arms above his head, and I was went, "Oh, Jesus." Luckily, the bouncers, I was the one that shouted at him. All the bouncers jumped on him, wrestled him to the ground, dragged him off with his mates. And I would just realise, I stood around, I was on my own. I had no one getting my back. He would just run into me, just knock me down. I'd been lying on the floor going, "Don't do it again." But so I had to go and ran off in the other direction. I didn't run off. I kind of strutted off. I went, "See you later, guys."
So it wasn't actually.
It wasn't a
at all.
fight, but in the world of Jack, it was definitely a
Well,
fight.
no, but you were a white knight. You stood up for a girl who had been taken advantage
More
of.
of a black knight, I'd say. You know, the white knights are the losers.
You're a dark horse.
No, the white
exactly.
knights are the ones who come in and save girls.
I guess so, but yeah.
No one had your back, Jack.
Huh?
And it's
No
not
one had your back.
I was on my
If
own.
I'd have been there, I would have filmed it.
It'd been like bum fights, but yeah, no, I was really excited. Well, I was terrified as well. But then I kind of walked off, and I was like, "Hey, I'm a big man there." Come on, you guys.
Did you get loads of adrenaline?
Huh? I did. I tell you what, I had to go home and just I had to punch a wall for a while.
I thought you were going to say something
I went
else.
home and played Tekken. It's like, yeah.
I'll punch some virtual
You guys
people.
must be impressed with me. That was quite, that's not like me.
I've been in a
nice.
proper fight, so you know.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I bet you go out looking
can
for
say
him. Scrapping.
I'm not a violent person.
We're worried about slagging off Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
You're kidding me. Crash Bandicoot.
C-O-O-T.
You're
Crash
kidding
Bandicoot.
me. No, it's not. It's Crash Bandicoot. Hold on, let me check. It does say Coot, but it's Crash Bandicoot.
It's not. Learn to read.
As I was going to make the nice little link, I nearly got into a bit of a crash bang wallop on Friday, and that brings us to today's game.
Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, you said it wrong. Do you want to say it again properly?
Wait, what?
He just did say it again. He
Crash
just did say it
Bandicoot.
properly.
Oh, I see what you mean. No, I didn't say it wrong.
No, he said it right.
Okay, well, there's only 3 of us, so this is going to be a bit of a round table one. I don't even know what that means. Lysanne, you picked this game.
Yes.
So, has you played it recently? In fact, you were playing it when I came in. Mm-hmm. And how do you feel about the game?
Yeah, still love it. The only infuriating thing is because obviously 2 and 3 have been out for a while, obviously, and played them, but I do miss all the moves that you can get in 2 and 3. I miss their absence in the first game. But the first game is so well constructed that, you can still enjoy it.
I've not actually played 2 and 3, so remind me of the moves that were brought in 2
Well,
and
in
3.
2, you can do the body slam.
Oh, I was trying to do that all the time. I didn't understand why I couldn't do it. Like, why is he not body slamming?
Body slams in 2.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only power-up you get from that. And then in 3, they brought in the body slam, the double jump, the wampa gun, the double jump, and dash.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'd never use dash in the game, though.
Yeah.
That must be a nightmare.
No, it's amazing, because you do time trials in 3 as well.
Oh, okay.
So you can time how quickly you can do a level and stuff.
Fair enough. So you thought it's
awesome.
aged very well? You really... I mean, you found it a bit restrictive because of those moves missing.
Yeah, I found it restrictive because I missed those moves. I've always found that after playing 2 and 3, whenever I've gone back to Crash Bandicoot, I've always missed having those moves. But then I appreciate the level design, and even though, Crash can jump and spin and that's it, the way that they've designed the levels are such that you're not looking... Well, I knew those extra mechanics existed in later games, but I can appreciate...
I was talking to Brecky about this the other week, actually. We were talking about do sequels diminish the first game? For example, if I played Skyrim, and I've never played Morrowind and Oblivion, so I was kind of like, have I completely ruined those games for me now?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go back when companies do incremental improvements.
Yeah.
And it's the same, I was discussing Uncharted earlier. Uncharted 1 was quite simple, just like Crash Bandicoot is.
So, and you purposely didn't jump to Uncharted 3. You thought, I'll get 2 first and then play 3.
No, I played 1 first, ages ago, then played 2, and now I'm looking forward to playing 3.
But what I mean is, like, 3's available now, so you made the choice to go, I'll play 2, not, like, just jump straight to 3, if that makes sense.
I think, well, they're like a continuous story, so it's less like Crash Bandicoot in that there's like a real narrative there that you should really pay attention to.
It's just interesting, though, isn't it? Because there are some games like that where, for example, I haven't got a PS3, and I bought one, and I thought, would I buy Little Big Planet before I bought Little Big Planet 2? I was like, probably not.
I think in cases like those, you want the latest one, because it's not like there's a story linking them all together.
Exactly.
But if I after experiencing the additions that Uncharted 2 brought, if I went back to Uncharted 1, I think, like, if I played that second, I think I would have found it really boring. Because I kind of struggled through it as it was. It was a bit too simple.
Yeah.
And the second one just improved on it in every single way.
Not always the case, though, because I still think, like, for example, if I played Resident Evil 5 and then 4, I would still enjoy 4 more than 5.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's a bit unfair, because 4 was just a much better game overall.
Yeah, 5 was not as well received.
Yeah. Actually, what did you think of Crash Bandicoot after playing all these years? Did you play it back in the day?
I did a little bit, yeah. I didn't have a PlayStation, obviously. My brother had a PlayStation.
Oh.
He always had the consoles.
God, blimey, your parents loved him,
Was your brother
didn't
the favourite?
No, he just had jobs and stuff. My first console was a GameCube, I think. Well, it was a Game Boy Advance, and then I bought a GameCube.
Is your brother a bit older than you?
5 years older than me.
Oh, okay, so yeah, that would be like when he was
had
getting
access
jobs.
to funds.
He was jobs like 16 while you were 11 sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think he owned it, though, so I must have played it at friends' houses, because I remember playing it. But this was my first real, foray, like that, foray, into the game.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Stop with the eyebrows, you two.
Sorry, we're all
Your
about the
eyebrow
eyebrows.
flirting with each other.
Hey?
One of the first things I noticed...
You both like Crash Bandicoot. He does a lot of eyebrows.
One of the first things I noticed is that the graphics, even though it's easy to think of early 3D graphics as quite offensive, like you see them after 3D graphics improved this much, and you think, this is a bit...
It's poor.
Yeah, it's way too jaggy. There's too many jaggies.
Too many triangles.
But I remember thinking when I started playing it, the graphics in this game are so bold, in the same way that the graphics in Super Mario World are bold, that they're inoffensive. They're timeless because they're very strong graphics. Like, they're simplistic and they've got a very nice aesthetic that all blends together well.
I'd actually say graphically it's aged quite well.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised. I mean, not perfect. It's still thing, but when you consider that it's a first generation PlayStation game.
Yeah, that's especially rare for early 3D games. So
when was it released?
Let me have a quick look through my notes while you.
Was it a launch title?
It was released originally released for PlayStation in 1996. It was re-released for Sony's Greatest Hits in 97.
Yeah.
So 96, so the same year as Super Mario 64.
It was released, very close in terms of months as well.
But I remember this game going down very well in 96. I remember a lot of people loving Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Yeah, it was sort of Sony's answer to Sonic and Mario.
Yes, it was.
It was Crash and kind of Lara Croft were the kind of two... Because this is what I was going to ask about Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot, sorry. It's going to happen all the show. What I was going to ask about Crash is that it's kind of weird how I think Mario does personify Nintendo and Sonic personified the Mega Drives and Sega. I think Crash actually personified PlayStation quite well. He was a bit crazy.
PS1 it did, yeah.
Yeah, a bit nuts. And
this is
him
what makes
and Lara together kind of showed the whole thing of like adult gaming coming in. And somehow Crash kind of did also personify that feeling. He was a bit nuts.
I think that was only for a lack of anything more suitable, though, because this made me realise while I was thinking about this that Sony doesn't really have any first-party iconic characters.
They've just done a whole lineup for beat-em-up games in, what's it called?
Yeah, and
Sony Super All-Star Amazing Times.
All-Star Battle Royale, but everyone was making jokes about how they've got very few characters to call on, and it's all sort of second-party titles and things. Sony never really had that one title, like Nintendo does with Mario, and Sega did with Sonic, because now Sega's gone down the pan.
Yeah, that's true. I quickly just dig up. They're originally going to call him, temporary name when they first did it was Willy the Wombat.
Oh, God.
That was going to be his original name. And then they decided to play against the thing that he smashes crates. So they're either going to go for Bash, Trash, or Crash. They went, go for Crash and make him a Bandicoot.
Yeah, I looked up Bandicoot because...
is it a real animal?
It is, and it's a really small mammal.
Okay.
And I thought it'd be similar to like the Tasmanian devil. Because it's a similar look, but they took the same approach as Sonic, where they took a really small, cute animal and made it stand on its hind legs and be tall for some reason.
Yeah.
And look nothing like the original animal.
Yeah.
But they exist. But they're omnivores, so they do eat meat. So I guess they're a little bit fierce.
Yeah,
They're not just plant eaters. Like.
I was going to quickly comment before I forget that it was great. It was a great thing. The Wikipedia article on this game is huge. Like this, I've got it in my hand now. It's about 12 pages long. Someone took a loving. But one of the things I absolutely loved is when they tried to sell the game in Japan, they very quickly, in about 15 minutes, gave one of the artists. They said to her, to Charlotte Francis, the artist responsible for renderings, and gave her 15 minutes to close Crush's huge smiling mouth to make him seem less aggressive, change his eyes from green to 2 small black Pac-Man shapes, and make his spikes on his hair smaller, just so he looked, because that's apparently what Japanese markets preferred seeing. And I can imagine that in my mind, what he actually looks like. I think, he would look quite Japanese if he did that. Just made me laugh. They were like, just completely change him for that game. And it's kind of weird. That was all they did to structure it towards the Japanese market. And it worked.
Well, it's a simple enough game with appealing enough, mechanics that I guess it would work in any market with a few touches.
But sorry, I don't know if I interrupted your point. You didn't really finish. You were saying about the graphics. You thought it was aged quite nicely for the game when it was released. And stuff.
Oh, no, that was my point. I mean, compared to other early 3D titles, when the technology was kind of new, it's aged really well. I think it's because it's so stocky.
It's generally quite... even reviews that are still done today, when people do it, they all generally agree that actually graphically it's done quite well.
Yeah.
That they say, and I agree that some of the bosses, however, don't do too well because they've done a very...
Papu.
The guy with the stick.
He is ridiculous,
He looks awful. He was mad. Like, he's just like a pink blob stretching all over the place.
Well, he's not even a blob. He's so angular.
Yeah.
For a fat guy, he's got a lot of bone sticking out.
I'm not going to be able to explain this very well, but there is a whole technical reason as to why they did that. It was something to do with the amount of the vertex were like stretching polygons to make the characters. So it didn't use as many vertices. It would stretch between them in the character animation and stuff like that. So it looked great on a small little character, but when you make it big, it just looks an absolute mess. But that's why they got to do so much with the environments and make it look quite nice.
Yeah. No, the scenery of each level is amazing. I've forgotten how unbelievably detailed it is. And, it just looks... the scenery of all the levels looks just stunning.
But where the game... Sorry to say, Suzanne, where a lot of people think it hasn't aged too well is in gameplay. So, Anthony, what would you say about gameplay?
One of the first things I thought about, questioning myself over, when I first started playing this, was the whole back-to-front movement thing was quite new, especially for platformers.
Yeah. Was it the first? Did we find that out?
I think it was the first game where it almost... it didn't completely do it. It was almost like a 2.5D game in terms of, 2D, 3D. But I don't think... I think... Because the only one I could think of before that, I remember Space Harrier, you ran away from the camera on a flat plane through the whole level, just going, get ready! And
2D games definitely did it.
Yeah, and I remember Mickey Mania had a sequence where you were running away from the camera. Obviously, Sonic had the special tunnels where you ran away from the camera.
Yeah.
So I think it was the first game that really did it really heavily in 3D, but it kind of did exist. I mean, you could even say like some sort of, what was the famous Sega flight simulator game where you actually sat and it would rock you around? It's like Afterburner. Even that you kind of, I guess that's a bad example, but it did exist of moving away obviously from the camera. But this was the first time
as a platformer.
I think as a platformer, I'd probably go as far as to say that yes.
And all levels were predominantly like that.
Yeah.
In this one.
It's strange that they do the switch, though, from 3D to 2D and didn't just do that for the whole game. It was almost like they were a little bit nervous about doing it for the whole game, that they thought we'd better add in some classic 2D levels as well, which is nice. It does break it up quite nicely.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned Sonic. I thought it was interesting that you get the bonus rounds by picking up that woman's head.
Yes.
And they're 2D.
It's a token, not her. Literally her head going, yeah, got a
She's
head.
got loads of heads. She's dropped them all over the place. No, that's the bonus round. You pick up her heads and you get the 2D bonus round. And that's the opposite of Sonic, where it's 2D and then you get the bonus round in Sonic 2, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or is it Sonic 3? And you get the running away from the camera.
Sonic 2, because you had Tails.
Yeah. So they went from 2D to running away from the camera. And Crash Bandicoot did the opposite way around. But since that was quite new at the time, I wondered if they were relying on that back-to-front movement as quite a fresh idea to make up for quite simplistic gameplay.
I guess so. Yeah,
because the gameplay itself was quite,
yeah.
I was just going to quickly comment that I started playing the game, and I never played it when I was younger. I played it around a friend's house, played a few demos, and I always did like the game. I always liked the style and the colour, and I think it has aged very pretty. I was really surprised. The only thing I would say is the actual gameplay of moving backwards. It's not that I don't enjoy playing, but I just found it very hard. And I mean, they must have known when they did it that because you're not seeing the jump arc of Crash, because he's jumping into the back distance, depth perception is very hard to judge.
Yes.
Yeah, it gets a bit counterintuitive.
And that was my biggest trouble with the game. And I didn't mind it for the first few levels, but when it started getting, I'll be honest, I only got to the end of Island 2 because I started getting, there was one boss in particular where he wasn't really hard, but it's the one where there's 9 platforms. Ripperoo.
He's the most annoying one out of all of them.
And you have to try jump on these little TNT boxes that are quite small, and because the camera's far away, it's taking the whole area. It wasn't difficult, it was just very hard to land on the platforms. And it was, but I even remember playing it back in the day with my friends and found it frustrating then. This wasn't something that's like in age has got worse. It's just something that they had in the game. They tried something new and it worked, I'd say predominantly, but overall that still frustrates me even now. And that happened in the second and the third games as well. I don't really know how they could fix it by running, because you're running away from the camera. That's always going to be a little bit of a problem.
Well, you don't really have games like that anymore. Like platforming.
I guess because we've got the processing power to just do 3D platforms.
Well, no, that you get moments of it in Galaxy.
Yeah,
Galaxy, it is Mario running away from the camera for pretty much all of it.
I think, though, if they did I did have Crash's Wrath of Cortex on the Xbox. I can't remember if they changed, but I would imagine now they would give you a slight... Yeah, there was an Xbox version of Crash. It was called...
I didn't know that.
Wrath of Cortex, I think. Let me just quickly check. Yeah, it went Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex in 2001 on PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube.
Oh, okay.
Xbox, sorry, not 360, Xbox.
Yeah.
In Super Mario Galaxy, you can still rotate the camera at all times.
Yes,
right?
you can.
Well,
yeah.
I think that makes a big difference because there's a limitation to this running away from the camera style that you can't really get over, and I think that's why it hasn't been used predominantly in gameplay ever since.
I was going to say that if they did do a relaunch, I'm surprised they haven't yet done a relaunch of Crash, a reboot, but I think if they did, they would probably give you not a massive control of the camera, but a slight control just to elevate it, move it maybe left and right.
Yeah.
And I was also surprised with Crash Bandicoot because one of the things they normally do in platformer games is they'll make the shadow of the character very dark as it acts as almost like a target to see where you're going to land. And this, in Crash Bandicoot, his was very light. So even then I couldn't really rely on his... thing. Oh, there was one particular. There was with the water levels where you're running up the logs with the fish that jump out of the water.
Yeah,
you had just no way of. You had to kind of time it, just hoping they wouldn't jump out and eat you. That was driving me mental.
See, that stuff is why I love platformers, is because it's getting that timing. It's waiting, learning the pattern, and then beating it.
It's a hard game. I'll give it that. And but I just found it slightly sometimes a borderline to frustrating more than challenging.
Oh God,
I would say actually no, it is challenging as well. But I found it frustrating as well. I found sometimes the mechanics were. Just that, the running backwards, I just found it a little bit like, oh, God damn it, I landed on that platform.
Yeah, this made me realise that I think the biggest difference between gaming now and then is that gaming then relied a lot more on difficulty to make the playtime longer, whereas now it relies on things like story and cutscenes and things. So if you get a 40-hour game, you know it's not because you're going to repeat every second level.
Apparently, there is a huge story in this Crash Bandicoot game that I completely didn't see. You start in the game, and he's just on a beach, wakes up, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. But
no, you skip the intro.
But I don't... I think it's one of those cutscenes that unless you actually sit and wait for it, it didn't happen.
Yeah, if you click through any of the menu... As it's loading up, the naughty dog and stuff like that. If you skip any of that, then it'll skip the whole intro bit.
I can't actually even read out the story because it's so long, but it's set on a trio of islands southeast of Australia, all owned by the evil scientist Dr. Neo Cortex, with the age of his old friend and ingenious scientist Dr. Nitrous Brio. He creates the Evolver Ray, which they use to evolve the various animals living on the island into beasts with superhuman strength. One of the experiments was a peaceful bandicoot who was Crash. And they kidnap his girlfriend or something, or his sister or something?
It's his sister in the second one.
Okay.
It's Coco in the second one. Yeah, they get together.
Well, they wanted the actual designers of the game. The PlayStation asked them to sex it up a bit with the character, and they were like, "No, we're not doing that. It's a sexist. We're not doing that." But they did a little bit. But they didn't,
with the bonus girl.
They didn't get as. PlayStation wanted a lot more, and they were like, "No, we're not doing that." But yeah, I completely missed that story. I just played it. How weird is the bit when you ride the warthog and the level starts for about 5 seconds of you're looking at the back end of a warthog and Crash looking over his shoulder,
like, hey.
winking. I had no
Winking
idea what was going to
eyebrows.
happen. I kind of went, "What's he going to do to that warthog?" And he just jumps on
I
it.
saw that, and that they didn't add in the sexuality for the woman, but they added in sexuality for the hog.
Yeah.
I have never read that as sexual in my life, and now
the bit when he jumps on the hog?
Yeah, and now I'm replaying it.
Behind
No,
the
now I'm
warthog.
replaying it in my mind's eye, and you two are disgusting.
He's standing
Who
behind
stands
the
behind an
warthog.
animal and raises his
And the
eyebrows?
warthog's
at
sitting there, and
someone
then he just looks at the camera and goes, you know what's going to happen." I went, "What am I about to watch?" And then he just jumps on it and rides it. I was like,
PlayStation's a console
okay.
for adults.
Well, exactly. I was thinking, blimey, it's slipping into the bestiality area.
Yeah, that
No, but the
hog-
hog levels, I love the hog levels. And
I
in two, you ride a polar bear, and in 3, you ride a dinosaur whilst being chased by a dinosaur. It's amazing.
I liked them, but I found them to the point where they were just getting a bit memory. You just had to remember which way to go.
Well, yeah.
I'd go
I think
left
this
and hit
entire
the guy, and
game
it's
is
like, next
about
time I'd go right.
rote memorization.
Yeah,
We've talked
it
about
is
before.
completely.
Still fun. I still enjoyed it. I mean, whenever they have those sequences in any game where you're kind of running away, it is almost just memory and remembering which way to
Yeah.
go, left or right,
Yeah.
left or right.
But you all know I don't like that in platformers.
Yes.
I didn't know that, but okay.
I like. Well, yeah, no, I've mentioned it.
You don't like bottomless pits either, do you?
No, I don't like bottomless.
You
pits
don't
or-
like jumping on enemies, do you?
Well, you haven't
Instant
really-
death spikes.
You haven't really finished your point of how did you feel about the gameplay?
But I think I finished that.
I mean, you haven't really given your overall gist of how you feel about the game, Anthony.
It's because you keep interrupting
Sorry.
I think
Yeah,
we've
no.
covered it, but I had a point about the hog level.
Oh,
Quickly
go on,
before we
then.
move on.
Oh, do the hog level point.
Because it was a bit horrifying. I don't know if you guys realise this. You're riding through the forest on this hog, and they start showing you hog roasts.
Yeah, they do.
Moving up and down.
It's good.
I didn't make that connection, but now I realise that is actually really
It's
horrible.
great.
Who's setting that up so that the hog has to see these hog roasts? He has to keep on going, tears streaming out of his eyes as he's running along. He has to keep going through the level like, Crash Bandicoot needs me. I can't stop and cry for my dead loved ones.
Aw, I never thought about that now. That's another bit. Crash is a bit of an arse, isn't he? Oh.
Well, it's not Crash setting up the hog roasts.
Well, no, but Crash is jumping on it, going, "Come on, yeah!" He could have just ran through the level.
No, it's like you help out someone, but you see a dead comrade, so you just carry on going. It's your duty, you know. But
Oh, yeah, that's quite cruel.
that hog saw some horrifying things. Hoggifying.
He sits there,
Didn't work. That didn't work. Don't put that. Edit it out of the show.
I a little bit off topic, but to play this game, I actually went out and brought, and I've got it down here, so I quickly get it for
Bought.
£10. And for anyone outside Brighton, you won't really get this, but these guys will hopefully react properly. I had to go to an area called Whitehawk.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You did not tell me that.
It's on the east side of
Have
Brighton.
you washed?
Huh?
Have you watched since being in
Now, to be
Whitehawk?
fair, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Basically, if anyone doesn't
Did
know,
you leave your wallet at home? Yeah, you just had that £10
I
on
just
you.
took the £10 and like a backup
Left your phone at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whitehawk's known as being a bit of a bad area of Brighton. I don't think it's that bad. I blended in. I was like, what's up, my possies? Just here for my PlayStation and all that. But I picked up a PlayStation 1, a PlayStation with no power leads. I don't even know if it worked. 22 games. They're all rubbish. They're all like F1 98 and like weird things. But I got a PS1 with a little screen, which I got down here.
I can see that's the official
Have you-
LCD they sold.
Yeah, PS1 with official LCD for a tenner. Look, I'll turn the volume on to see if I can get it on the mic. Look at this. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, yeah.
And that's in his hands.
Lying in my bed playing that bad boy. Look at it.
That sound
That is
was-
amazing.
For £10. I'll tell you what, and this was made in what? I still put down that the PlayStation 1, the PS1 redesign, that's the best
This is the
looking-
smaller one, yeah.
the small, not the big old blocky thing. That's the best designed console I've ever seen. Not without, even without the screen, that looks fantastic. I mean, the Wii U looks
It
a
does
lot
look
like
pretty.
that. It's so cute. That's what I'd want the Xbox 360 to 720 to look like. It's gorgeous. It's
It's never going to be that small.
It's so cute, he says. I'm going to be playing this in my bed, he says.
oh yeah.
What's going on with that you and that PS1, Jack?
Same thing as crashing that hog. He's going to
things-
ride it.
The things this screen has seen. But what would you guys say is the
Oh,
prettiest
Jack,
design?
it's sticky.
I had to pull the screen up.
Peel the screen up.
What would you guys say is the prettiest games console ever designed? You're going to say the 3DS, aren't you?
No,
3DS isn't that good looking. It's got little
it's
dials
not.
everywhere.
It's shiny and blue, though. It's pretty.
original DS. You remember the original DS? It looks like it'd been run over by
DS
like
Lite
a
looked
truck.
really nice, though.
Yeah, I had a DS Lite before I had my 3DS. And yeah, DS Lite was
After
nice.
this, I'd probably say the N64 is one of the prettiest.
No, it's a bit... Like that and the N64 are a bit childish, aren't they?
I don't like
I don't think so. I think that looks very futuristic. I think this looks very Japanese.
Yeah, Japanese childish.
I didn't really like many of the games that came with it, but I thought the PSP.
I can't argue with that logic.
But I thought the PSP looked really nice, and mine was
PSP was
pink.
probably one of the most sexiest pieces of kit. I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I
it was
really
gorgeous.
The GameCube as well looks... I know it's only a little square, but it's so small and cute, and it's got a little hand on the back. I was really impressed by it.
Yeah,
I really like the UK SNES.
Yeah.
Because I think it looked different in the US. It was like a purple thing.
Much better than the American version as well. The American version like a transformer.
Yeah, but it was so clean. Like the lines were so clean and everything. It looked cool.
It is beautiful. I can see mine down there.
Yeah, for £10, I was well happy with that. But yeah, I was a bit
the
terrified. I was running out of the area with this PlayStation horde in my hand. But sadly, I really struggled to find a copy of Crash Bandicoot. I had to buy it online in the end.
Should have said you could borrow mine.
I didn't actually know you had a copy. Have you got a PlayStation 1 down here then, have you?
Well, my flatmate's got a PS3. I have a PS2 which lives in my bedroom.
Oh, it's right here, right next to me. Sorry,
I have a PS2 which lives in my bedroom because we don't need it in here with Scott's PS3.
Back in the day,
yeah, I've got all my PS1 games still.
Back in the day with the tiny screenshots on the back of the box where they used to try to squeeze in as much as they could.
Yeah.
So the screenshots are tiny, you have to squint.
Can't
but
even
nowadays,
see 'em.
I've picked up games today like Halo 4. I reckon there'll be nothing on the back, just a picture of Master Chief going get some, and that'll be the whole game.
Wins the prize for worst games disc holders.
Oh, on the PlayStation, yeah.
Oh my god, I've got so many broken ones down
it's
there.
so hard to find.
They're so flimsy. It's ridiculous.
It's the fact that when you open it, the manual sits on top of the disc.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. I mean, the two... retro gaming collectors will be able to say better, but probably the two hardest to find in good condition are probably PlayStation and N64 games.
No. Super Nintendo boxes.
Oh, yeah, Super Nintendo
Because they were just card.
Yeah,
they weren't even cardboard, they were just card.
N64, right? Cardboard? Not cardboard.
N64, I think, was a little bit stronger, the boxes.
But
yeah,
Nintendo
they
used
were
the same
nightmare.
thing for the Game Boy Advance as well.
But like the
They used
Mega
the card
Drive,
for some reason.
the old Mega Drive games, big old clunky cases that like you have to.
They were the big
open.
black plastic cases, weren't they?
Those things you can find them.
They're amazing.
I know.
Built a house out of them.
Yeah, they were mint condition. I think NES boxes as well were pretty flimsy. They were like just literal sleeves. Some of them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But back to the gameplay of Crash Bandicoot. I have got like a little summary if you want, because you were asking.
Go for it.
I think even though the graphics are bold, because it's like an early example of 3D platforming, you get the same problem you had with Donkey Kong Country, where knowing where the platform starts and ends is quite difficult. And obviously, as you said, you don't know the arc so well, judging the jump.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult. I think that makes it more frustrating than something that's as clean as and easily understood as Super Mario World. And so it benefits from the 3D bold graphics, but I think it detracts from the gameplay itself. I think that's why they didn't really carry that trend on with the 3D platforming so much. Because now it's all about camera control. It's very important.
Well, I noticed the... so I'll let you finish in a second, but the spin attack, I think that's why they purposely made it attack that was very... it wasn't precise. You just span on the spot.
Yeah.
It was more about timing it when to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was something like throwing a fireball like Mario, it would just be a nightmare. Because it would just be really hard to aim and stuff like that.
Yeah, and in Mario you could get that fine control, and that was part of learning the game. But in this, there was more trial and error. I like the fact that when you spin attack an enemy, it sends them flying off, and you can hit another enemy.
I love the little gun sound as well as it goes, ping, and it shoots off.
So that
the
makes
sense
it more
of humour in this
user-friendly.
game is amazing.
The music and sound effects actually were surprising because
They're awesome.
On the corner of the Wikipedia article, they were quite last minute orders music design. I had to rip a lot of it out
Because
and
the
replace
music's
it.
amazing.
And yeah, I was really surprised by it. I think especially the sound effects. It's the first game in a long time that I've played it. Actually, I think the sound effects were better than the music. All the little wah, like when he dies and stuff like that, and when you hear the counting down of the nitro boxes and stuff like that, it was cool. And what's the noise when he collects the mask?
Hoodabaga. Yeah, see, I never read the manual, and me, my brother, and my sister. Well, not my sister; she didn't really play, but me and my brother, especially, and my cousin, we didn't know that they were called Aku Aku. That's his proper name.
Is that what he's saying? Aku Aku.
No, that's his proper name. But we just called them hoodabagas because that's the noise he made when he came out, and so it's just all the time it's just hoodabaga.
Well, we used to call the big. I don't know if they were actually called this, but in Mario, the cannonballs that are on chains used to bark in Super Mario Kart and stuff like that, on Super Mario 64. So we just called them dogs.
They're chomps.
But they're chomps, yeah, and we just call them dogs because they would go woof, 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 woof
Yeah.
when they're coming after you. It's like, why are they having barking? But yeah, so we just called them dogs.
But yeah, like I said, I love the sense of humour in this game. I don't know if you guys managed to complete a level first time without dying.
Maybe one of the earlier ones. Does he dance?
No, when you land on the orange whirlpool spinny thingy at the end,
Yeah.
then if you've done it first time without dying, then he'll turn around and put his fist in the air, and jump up, and then you'll get transported to the gem room, where you then either get rewarded with a gem, or for every box that you fail to get, it gets smashed on Crash's head.
Because I thought that was a bit harsh.
It's so funny though.
It was like, you complete the level, but you missed this many boxes.
It's hilarious. It's so funny, and it just smashes them all on his head as punishment for getting to the end and failing. It's moments like that made me really, really love this game. Because it's just taking the mick out of itself.
I particularly liked it. I don't really know why, but the death animation. I like the way that when you get hit, it would go pitch black and his character would still be on screen. It would go, wow! And then he'd fall on the floor. I don't know why. I really like that.
The death animations in the sequels are amazing. They are so funny. He turns into ghosts. There's ones where...
I remember that.
There's one where in 3, he gets stung by a bee and then he just swells up because he goes into anaphylactic shock. There's another one where he loses his trousers and he's there in his pink underpants, all embarrassed.
Well, in this one, if you set him on fire... He just turns into like the classic Looney Tunes, black ash that drops to the floor.
And these two little eyes just blink, blink.
We need games like this back again.
Yeah.
Well, Mario's
it's just such a great sense of humour. No, but Mario's deaths were never as clever as Crash's and never as funny as Crash's.
No.
Crash's deaths were hilarious.
I was about to make a big mistake then and say that this was an British design game, but it's not, is it? Naughty Dog aren't British based.
No,
they're American based.
Like Santa Monica, I think.
Yeah.
Well, they're now in Santa Monica.
For some reason, I made the assumption they were American, but English, but of course they're not. No, they're American.
One thing I wanted to point out about the platforming that really surprised me in a bad way was that most of it, even though I found it kind of difficult and frustrating to know where I was going to land, it all made sense. But the very first... the second bonus round, where you're running side to side, I managed to fall behind the platform.
Yeah, you can.
And that just seemed completely...
Yeah. When it goes to 2D, you can fall off the front and fall off the back.
So it's still like a 3D left, and like you can go forward and back, and that just seems such a weird design decision.
No, but it's great because it means you have to be good at it.
But you can't see that.
It took me years to get this game to 100% complete.
I think the problem he would say is that the fact that it's a bit of it's cruel because the first time you find that out, you basically learn it by trial and error. But you die in a bonus round, which means you don't actually lose a life. It just means
it makes it more difficult.
It just means you can't save your game.
But those bonus rounds are on like a flat 2D plane, right? So you can't see the difference, like the Z
depth.
Yeah, the depth. Whereas the back to front regular levels, you've got it at an angle, third person, not directly behind Crash, so it's not on a 2D plane, so you can see the change in distance in every direction.
Yeah.
And so having that depth in the 2D rounds seemed like a strange design decision to me.
I mean, it kind of shows how games have aged, the fact that was the only time you could save your game.
Yeah.
You had to get those 3 things and you had to get a bonus round.
Yeah,
some
you had to complete the bonus round.
Quite a bit tricky. You have to be careful with your jumping, and that was the only time you were allowed to save your game.
Yeah, I went through to a continue and it took me back to the first level. Right?
Yeah.
When you continue, what kind of continue?
Well, that's because you hadn't saved it.
But that was what games were like. I mean, the game we're doing next week has probably one of the worst save game systems they've ever done, which is Resident Evil, where you have to find ink ribbons and then you can save your game. Which,
I'm really not looking
when you
forward
look back
to that.
now, I mean, that's why when we did Half-Life, it was such a big thing to do quick saves, because back at these times, because I remember Tomb Raider 2 when that came out, you could just pause and save at any time. But in Tomb Raider 1, I think you could only save at like certain points in the levels and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just. It seems so harsh by today's standards. You're like, I've got to do all these levels again.
They did also have gem save as well. So once you'd completed all the levels and you then went back through to get all your gems so that you could then go on to fight Neo Cortex. Because that's another thing. You could only fight Neo Cortex if you'd got all the gems. And then you could go and fight him and then you could complete the game. But yeah, when you went back through and you were awarded a gem, you then did a gem save, which didn't save level progress. It just saved the fact that you'd got the gem. So you didn't have to do all that again. Like, you didn't then have to get the gem and then quickly go and try and find a save point and do the level and the bonus round so you could save it. It just saved the gem for you. So they added that in to make it slightly better.
Unfortunately, this game also had one thing that we don't really see anymore, which is cheat codes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So if you got super frustrated, you could put in that ridiculously long cheat code and get all 32 levels, whatever, unlocked.
Is that what you did?
No. I was considering it, but... Like, nowadays, if a game was this difficult and it didn't have cheat codes to get through to the last level, you just wouldn't... I think people would just drop the controller and never play again.
Well, there is some statistic of, like, games now. I think it's only 10% of copies of games actually get completed.
Where are they getting that statistic, Jack?
I remember it was from the magazine of Edge. They were talking about the mentality of why people don't complete games anymore. And it was very interesting because I remember there was a game, I think it was Allied Assault, where they even just admitted that the ending was complete rubbish. I'm like, why did you make the ending so rubbish? It's like, because we know no one's ever going to get there. What's the point of focusing? We'll spend like 80% of our efforts in the first level and about 10% in the last level because no one's going to get there.
That's ridiculous.
The end of Halo 2 is rubbish, like the final boss. And Bungie were like, because most people aren't going to bother playing it.
See, I don't buy a lot of games because I sit and play a game to completion, and until I've completed it.
You're the developer's worst nightmare. Because you see the final levels and they're like missing assets. It's just a blank space.
On that topic, how would you guys like to see? Because Crash has sadly kind of disappeared a little bit.
He has. He was eclipsed by was it Banjo-Kazooie?
I don't think he's even in the PlayStation all Battle Royale lineup.
Probably not.
When you think he would probably, I guess because it's Lara Croft and him are big IPs now, but you should think he would be in that lineup.
Maybe because he didn't remain a Sony exclusive.
No, that's true. Because I was just saying, like, the sequels and stuff, they're, like, mobile phone games are still being made. The last one was 2010 with Crash Bandicoot and Nitro Kart 2. There was a cancelled game in 2010 that was going to be done by Radical Entertainment for the 360 and PlayStation 3 and Wii. And so the last real true game of Crash Bandicoot was...
Which was a platformer.
Well, there was Crash Boom Bang on the Nintendo DS in 2006.
Yeah, I heard about it. It was rubbish.
Crash Mind Over Mutant in 2000. There was one that was called... Twinsanity. I remember that 2004. That was when you and Dr. Cortex were handcuffed together and you had to throw each other at enemies. But he has kind of... I mean, it's been a good 6 years since... there's probably a whole generation of gamers coming in that have never really experienced Crash
they've
Bandicoot.
never heard about Crash.
But even those, I wouldn't say are real Crash Bandicoot games because Naughty Dog stopped developing them after
3.
And they went on to do...
they did Team Racing, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, I think they did that as well.
It went over to Traveller's Tales, who are English, who are based in Britain. They did Crash Bandicoot and Wrath of Cortex, first one. Then it went to Eurocom, who are also British, and Radical Entertainment, who I don't know where Radical Entertainment are.
But Naughty Dog then went on to do...
They had a game in between Uncharted and Crash Bandicoot, and I can't remember what the hell it is now.
It's not Ratchet and Clank, which I'm thinking of, but it's a different...
Jack and Daxter?
Ratchet and Clank.
Jack and Daxter,
Jack and Daxter, which again are games that people love, and there are you can see the similarities between Crash Bandicoot and Jack and Daxter, definitely.
And you can see that as a good link between, like a good bridge between Crash Bandicoot and Uncharted, because it was more exploratory and it was like more story driven. And so you can see where they progressed in their thinking.
It is almost a spiritual successor.
Yeah,
to Crash Bandicoot. But I mean, I would personally like to see Crash back again in a game.
I'd love to see Crash in a modern platformer, not identical to, but along the lines of how they brought back Mario with Galaxy.
I tell you
would be to have some kind of epic platformer, which was just, amazing. I would love that.
Character I can think that kind of has similarities with Crash is Conker from Conker's Bad Fur Day. Yeah. But I think I would rather see Crash back than Conker.
Well, Conker wasn't really an icon.
Yeah, Conker was just rude. He was just mean. But
but Sony hasn't stuck with like one character. They've got Crash, then Jack and Daxter, then Ratchet and Clank.
Do they have Spyro as well?
Banjo, they had Spyro.
Technically Spyro, yeah. Spyro's now a bit more Wii, to be honest.
Spyro is made by
multi-platform, but
the people who made Ratchet and Clank made Spyro beforehand. So those two, they were actually very closely working companies, those two. I can't remember the name of the people who made Ratchet and Clank.
Do you guys know how popular Spyro Skylanders is?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard on the internet,
massive.
There's lots,
but
big love
it's
for
one of these ones that it's kind of one of these weird ones that even hardcore gamers don't realise how much kids are playing. Like, they are the current Pokemon for that generation.
Really?
I think they've gone down now,
massive.
Right? Because I don't hear about them much anymore.
No, they're still hugely popular, selling absolute millions. And so many people, and with the Wii U coming up, they're releasing a version for the Wii U, so you just put it on the Wii U thing to do the same thing as scanning in figures. And it's making so much money.
And that's an Activision property, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I was interested because Spyro, that was kind of a bit of a relaunch for Spyro. Could have been Crash.
I think Spyro took over for Guitar Hero for Activision because Guitar Hero went in the dumps.
That's true.
Yes.
So Activision's moneymakers
Hey,
now.
you're forgetting one of the greatest platform characters of all time, Croc. We all remember Croc, right?
Nope.
Brilliant.
Nope.
Oh, have you never played Croc?
No.
Oh, we'll have to have this as one
Isn't
of my
that
games.
a shoe?
Croc was like, he was a crocodile. So yeah, I don't know. It was a 3D platformer and he like span his little tail around, Croc, as he ran along. It was brilliant.
I might have seen it because you're ringing bells.
Cool, I'm glad I'm ringing your bells, Anthony.
Stop with the eyebrows.
Did you have any more points to say before we wrap up the show?
Yes.
Why are you just looking at him?
Have
I
you got
have
any
things
more points
too.
to say? Yeah,
No,
can you-
you're just talking to Anthony now.
Well, I've got all these things
Go on,
written down,
Anthony.
and there's one without a tick, a little
Go on,
line
Anthony.
next to
Go
it.
on, Anthony.
Go on then.
This is my biggest criticism of the game, so I decided to leave it for last, right?
Oh.
In on a low note.
Do you want a drum roll?
The reason I'm not very fond of this game, I like it, but the reason genuinely I'm not very fond of it in a meta sense is that when Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin
Nice.
of Naughty Dog were making this game, I think they were asked to make it, or someone else came up with the idea or something. When they started developing this, they decided to throw out their other idea, which was called, I don't know why the name's called this, but anyway, it's called AIOsaurus and Dynstein, which is about time-traveling scientists merged with dinosaurs.
Awesome.
How did Crash Bandicoot get made instead of a game about time-traveling dinosaur scientists?
Do you know what? I honestly thought you were going to say they abandoned Gunstar Heroes 2.
No.
I honestly thought he was going to say that.
No one would abandon Gunstar Heroes 2. That was actually a Game Boy Advance
In
game.
their defence, Crash Bandicoot, got it right that time, has a much more has a better ring.
It has a bigger appeal
No,
as well.
it's a great game. It was classic.
Look at Dinosaur Planet with the Star Fox Adventures or whatever it's called. That was called Dinosaur Planet to start with, and they've worked out dinosaur games don't sell very well.
It's 'cause
Not
they
even
tried.
joking. It's a bit of a weird thing that dinosaur games don't. Any dinosaur game ever made has been pretty lame.
No, but even though I
Apart from
appreciate,
Dino Crisis, maybe.
even though I appreciate Crash Bandicoot, I can't love it because it stopped AIOsaurus and Dynstein from being produced. I don't know what that AIO bit is, but it's got initials in front of Dynstein, Saurus. Maybe that's like a scientific
maybe
thing.
you just read it wrong on screen.
No, because I looked it up like multiple times because I wasn't sure. Anyway, that's the biggest problem I have.
Did you
with
have
this
any
game.
points you'd like to bring to the table, Lysanne?
No, I was just going to do some nice conversational points about favourite levels, most hated levels, but not both of you didn't complete it, so doesn't matter.
I only got to the end of the
Second Island.
level,
How far did you
sadly.
get, Anthony?
I watched a playthrough all the way to the end, so I have seen the levels.
Okay.
So
But you haven't
yeah.
played them, so that doesn't count.
No, I haven't played the later levels, but I've seen them, so I do.
How far did you get?
I
Did
can't.
it?
No, I actually got to where my first continue came up, so I ran out of lives, and then because it started me back at the start, I thought, okay, when I start playing this again,
Get on out of this. Yeah.
when I start,
I ain't got time for this.
So how far did you get?
Ain't nobody got
I'm
time
not
for
sure
this.
what level it was, but it was on the first island,
Right, okay.
which is why I watched
Did
the
you get to
playthrough.
the Great Wall where the character kind of on the map runs all the way up?
I don't think so.
No, okay.
He didn't. That's the end of the first island.
that's
He
the end
didn't
of
get
the
to
first
that.
island. No, okay.
I was planning to use the cheat code to unlock all the levels and carry on playing. Then I decided because I was running out of time to watch.
I played on
playthrough.
set.
Yeah.
I played on set and I got to the end of the second level and it was getting quite hard then. It was always quite funny because I'd be able to get quite far through a level and then I'd reach one bit of a level that I would just die about 6 times on.
Yeah.
And I noticed it mustn't just be me because there'd be often afterwards there'd be like 4 crates with lives in them. I don't know if
Exactly.
that was maybe actually like auto-generates. That was kind of
No. They planted those crates in areas where they knew you were about
There
to
was one
die.
bit in
It's like
partic-
Mario with 1-ups. That's what they used to do.
yeah. There was one bit in particular where it was a Great Wall where there was 3 fire things in a row that you have to bounce on.
Yeah, it took
Died
me
about
years.
6 times.
Took me
on
years
that.
to learn how to do that.
You basically have to do it while the first one's on fire.
Yeah, exactly.
And just hope you don't land on it while it's alight. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was a nightmare.
it
That
is
sort
difficult.
of trial and error memorization doesn't enthuse me at all, so that's why I can't
Oh
stick
no,
with
it's
games
what I
like this.
love.
I would still definitely say there is certainly a skill to playing the game.
Yeah.
Oh, like certainly, you do have to learn how to control Crash quite well.
Yes.
But it feels like because you're having to learn him because he's restrictive or a bit flawed in his controls
Yeah,
because of the way he jumps, and you have to almost compensate a lot with him. Also,
Mm.
another thing about the game is there's no timer on it, so you don't need to rush. And I found myself strangely rushing a lot, and I didn't need to. I could take my
I've
sweet
never
time.
thought about that. There isn't a time.
There's no time. You could take as
Never
long
thought
as
about
much.
that.
But for some reason, I always felt it felt natural to rush through the level, but I don't know why I did.
Because because with all other platform gamers, all other platform games, sorry, I hold down the run button and get through the level as quick as I can.
They even
That's
on
what we do.
Wikipedia even they said there was a long while where the game didn't have crates, and they added it in when they realised there was a lot of gaps where there wasn't much in the levels. They put the crates in there to kind of slow things down, give you something to do in between the kind
Jumps.
of levels, the cells of the platform.
I think without the crates, it would have been even more simplistic, almost to the point of detriment. Because
it would be. I think the crates are probably one of the most sort of like iconic things about the game.
Yeah.
That's why it's called Crash in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that brings us into the retrograde part of the show. And Lysanne chose the game, so what's the review score going to be?
Okay. you can't pick a bandicoot, but if the game Crash Bandicoot was to be a marsupial found only in Australia and its surrounding islands, what marsupial would it be and why? Jack, do you know what a marsupial is?
Can you give me a definition? I mean, I know...
It's basically a mammalian animal that can only be found in Australia. It's unique to Australia. So, like, koala... A mammal.
Okay.
So, like, kangaroos, koalas... the animals you can only get in Australia.
I thought marsupial was something like I thought it was almost like had to be below a certain size or had to run on all fours or something like that, like meerkats.
Can I get a definition of animal? I'm not really sure on that one. Also only. I'm not looking.
They're not human. Animals are not humans.
Humans are animals.
A fish? Animals?
No, humans aren't animals. We're humans.
No, we're animals.
Okay.
We're not from the animal kingdom. We're
we
part of the Homo line.
No. Animals like the entire... We'll discuss this afterwards.
Oh, okay. Fine. Anyway.
I would go for a koala bear. Does that count?
Yes.
Because they are actually very cute and very lovable, but actually they're quite nasty little creatures when they want to be and could give you a nasty attack when you're not expecting it. A bit like this game where you suddenly would go, oh, that was a bit of a harsh bit of the level. Koala bear. You ever heard koala bears fighting? They go mental.
Jack, why are you fighting koala bears?
He looked at my girlfriend funny.
You haven't got a girlfriend.
Get down from there and come fight me like a man. You with your identical fingerprints. So yeah, I go for koala bears. They look very cute and look like they'd be a lot of fun. When you actually start playing one, you realise, hello, this thing's got claws and could actually damage me a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hopefully
koala bear.
Hopefully I haven't stolen your choice, but I'm going to go with a kangaroo.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of jumping involved.
Yep.
Hey, that was really good. I don't know why. I thought a kangaroo and thought I can't really link this game to a kangaroo. And yet that was so obvious.
Well, no, before I said it, I hadn't realised that I had a different link, but I'm bringing that in now. First of all, there's a lot of jumping involved. Second of all, because if you try and get too familiar with it, it will beat you up. Don't take a kangaroo for granted. They're boxing champions.
And
excellent.
You can climb in their pouches as well and carry them.
Just like with this game, Jack.
I'm trying to think of some Did you know actually the kangaroos, when the baby's born, it actually
this is another fact that isn't true.
The pretty much a fetus climbs up the chest,
the joey
into the sack. Yeah, like on its own, it just naturally knows it's got to climb up and into the sack by like natural instinct.
Mm-hmm. Did you know? A kangaroo. The word is Aboriginal for something like idiot, because when the English first landed on Australia and obviously all the Aboriginals are there, they were pointing at a kangaroo and asking, what's that? And the Aboriginals went, kangaroo! And so they thought it was called a kangaroo, but it actually means idiot or something. It might be ruder. Can't remember.
When English scientists first discovered platypus, they thought it was one of their colleagues playing a practical joke because it, it had the bill of a duck and it looked like the body of an otter and stuff like that. So like someone's clearly just somehow made some weird mutant. They didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah,
I think that kangaroo fact is why kangaroos get so feisty and hit you with their fists, because
they are sensitive.
Yeah, because all these English people are coming around insulting them,
calling them idiots.
They can kill apparently though with their feet.
Oh, they can.
They kick you like they're really bad.
Yeah,
kangaroos.
they're really strong.
But they're nutters.
Yeah. Anyway,
what's your animal? Is that?
I would grade this game as a Tasmanian devil. Because it's wild, it's unpredictable, it spins. I didn't.
It spins. Do they?
Tasmanian devils do, yeah.
The cartoon did. I don't think that was a reenactment of what Tasmanian devils do.
Okay.
No, but nor do real bandicoots.
Do you remember that show, Tasmania? We mean you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was amazing.
And he hated water.
But yeah, it's like a Tasmanian devil. Like the Tasmanian devil from the cartoon, not the actual Tasmanian devils, because they're not that cool
I'm
in
going to
real
have
life.
to go listen to the theme tune now because it went really fast.
Down in Tasmania. Down in Tasmania.
Named all the characters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. I forgot about that.
But yeah, I would give it a Tasmanian devil.
Okay, I don't really know what that evens out to. Basically, we've got two of us who.
7.
I mean,
it's
that sounds.
7.
Yeah, I would probably have given it about 6.5, 7 out of 10. Yeah, I think it's fair enough. I think it's actually aged pretty well, and I could actually happily play it for a little blast for like an hour or two.
Yeah,
so
the later games I would rank higher.
We give it the thumbs up.
I don't get why we do all this grading stuff. We're just going to do numbers anyway.
Okay, thanks for listening to us. You can find us on Twitter at Retrograde Show. You can email us whenever at retrograde@psycon.org. And you can also follow and like us on Facebook. Just search for Retrograde. And if you enjoyed the show, please take the time to write a review on iTunes. It makes us feel good about ourselves. And if you do, you get one of our special super limited edition badges, which I've got one right here. And they're pretty spiffy, right, guys?
Yeah, they're awesome.
Have you seen one of these yet, Anthony?
No, I haven't
There you go.
held one. Oh, well, that's
Don't get it dirty.
that's good quality, that.
It is good
That
quality.
is good quality.
I thought maybe you just printed them off in your inkjet and put them through some
Oh no, that's
laminate or
professional.
something.
That you stick
No,
that
this
on
is-
you, and you're going to get a lot of eyes.
But that one's mine, so you can't have that one.
I'm going to get some raised eyebrows.
So, and if you write us a review on iTunes, we'll send you out one of these badges. We've already been sending them out to some of our reviewers, and they've been wearing them with pride. None of them.
we assume.
None of them have complained. They're
Oh,
loving
ask
it.
them to send in a picture of them wearing the badges out and about.
Well, they
Where are
already
we gonna
have.
put the
A
picture?
lot of them
It's a
have,
podcast.
They've all tweeted the badges in their hands. I think they then just throw it in a drawer and forget about it. But seriously, they're lovely badges. You should wear them out. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't think of anything.
Next week's
Oh
game.
yes, next week's game was going to be picked by James, but he can't be here because he's on
He
the
still
toilet.
picked it, though.
He's on the toilet with diarrhea, going, "Oh man, it's coming
Oh,
out."
okay, it feels like
Right?
Nessie's in there.
At the start of the episode, you said that he's caught up with work, and now you're saying he's got diarrhea. So
It's it's his fault. He should be here. But it's funny. I used to have a teacher at school. I'm not even kidding. And anyone was ill.
Wait, you're not even kidding? You had a teacher
No,
at school?
I'm not even
Oh
kidding.
my
I had a
God.
teacher at school, but no, whenever anyone was ill, no matter what it was, or they were late for a thing, he would always put reason diarrhea, no matter what. And we actually had a head teacher come around and goes, "A lot of your students have got diarrhea," which I always thought was
it's the water.
It's a water thing. So if you write a review, we'll send you a lovely little badge from us as well, which is awesome. So limited edition, they're very rare.
Next week's game, are we going to talk
week's
about it at all?
Game chosen by James. He's decided to torture us all a little bit and do Resident Evil. He chose it, I know for a fact, I think, to basically torture us because it's a very famously known, badly aged game.
Yeah.
But it's an absolute classic. But it's not we'll see what we all think, basically. So if you're out there listening, make sure you play that game before next week's show, which is in 2 weeks' time.
Let us know if you do play it as well.
Yeah,
Right,
give
let
us
us
your
know.
thoughts and everything like that. So yeah, that's a goodbye from me, Jack Marshall, a goodbye from Anthony Hobday,
Goodbye.
and a goodbye from Lysanne Fisher.
Bye.